watching and listening to Conscious Evolution Media, shifting global consciousness at consciousevolutionmedia.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Kids Talk Foundation, a global nonprofit organization providing youth advocacy, television programming, and training services in the United States, along with comprehensive medical and educational services for the developing world, most recently in Kenya, Africa, where Kids Talk Foundation provides a feeding program, medical care, and educational services to over 1,300 young people each day. Please help our youth and place your donation. Go to www.kidstalk.org. Are you in the entertainment industry? If you answered yes and you want to promote yourself, your passion, and profession, check out Creative Independent Artist magazines at CIAartists.com. Endorsed by Kids Talk Foundation worldwide.
Hello, everybody. Welcome again to 2013. My name is Laura Whitehan, and I host Your Money and Your Mindset. Now, my mission is to bring you the top teachers, trainers, coaches who have got just the best modalities to help you get over whatever hurdle it is that you've got to creating lasting wealth. Now, remember, it's not just about the money. It is also about great relationships that you have and also great health. And I like to say hello to all our syndicated channels, which is Receiver Internet Radio, Radio Roku, New Media Radio, TV, Stitcher as well, and Blog TV, and you people out there in Stickum as well. Hey, how are you going? You're watching this on your Mac, on your laptop, on your phone, wherever you are. Hang on tight because it's going to be a very fascinating show today because I've got the most interesting guest that I've ever come across. Okay, so today the show is actually very special because it's meant for the people who have done all the right things and ticked all the right boxes, in the sense that, you know, you've got your goal book, you've got your vision board, you do your affirmations, you do everything right, you go to the right classes, you take the sorts of you do the sorts of things that you're told that if you do them right, you get to where you want to go. So the reality is sometimes a bit different, and it's maybe you're doing all these things, but you're not getting the results you want. And you're probably scratching your head and getting a bit frustrated as to why isn't it happening for you now, because 2013 is supposed to be your big year. So what I've done is to find for you a particular person who just has got the answers that you want. Okay, and so my very special guest today is Morgana Ray, and she's the only relationships with money that I've come across. I call her the money whisperer because her job is to help you heal your relationship with money. Did you know that you have a relationship with money? So just a bit about Morgana. She's been featured on the Wall Street Journal Online, Entrepreneurs Magazine. She's been interviewed on countless television programs, and well, she's well credentialed to talk about it when you hear her story, and more importantly, how she can actually help you. So you people out there, pen and paper, make sure you take lots of notes, and if you want to talk to us, you're welcome to Skype and chat in and so forth. So without any more further ado, hello Morgana Ray, how are you?
Hello, thank you so much for having me, and what a beautiful introduction. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, you're saying that, but I'm excited too. Anyway, look, Morgana, you know, this thing about what you're talking about is kind of way out there, isn't it, when you talk about relationship with money? But before that, I want to know who Morgana Ray is, and, you know, the credentials, the authority about this particular topic, relationship with money.
Well, in terms of credentials, I have lots and lots of credentials in coaching modalities and certifications and all sorts of stuff. And I was always really good at helping people get results, but it was not translating for me into making money. And I'm this lifetime student, and I would take every class that I could get my hands on building business, improving my mindset. Yes, I had the world's most beautiful vision board, and I had a millionaire mindset, and I was still not making money. People wanted to hire me, and I would still, it was like I had superhuman powers to repel money. And it didn't make sense. And I was at the worst point 10 years ago, struggling to make $100 a month. This is after the Ivy League education in the United States and the fancy, schmancy, expensive, year-long coaching certification process and the website and the business cards and if it just didn't matter, I still was making $100 a month working with great coaches, and it was so painful to
That must have,
feel.
that must have been terrible for your self-confidence. I mean, how did you keep battling through when, the results are saying, look, it's not a happening thing, girl. So how
Well,
did you go
oh,
past that?
well, I would take a new class and I'd be like, oh, if I take that class, then I'll be able to charge. And I would get all hopeful and I do really, really well in the class. And then it was just like Charlie Brown and the football. I don't know if you have Charlie Brown down in Australia. It's where he's always being teased, and I felt like that. And it was really black. I mean, it was one of the darkest periods of my life because I really despaired. I finally took this class on overcoming sales objections. And, for anyone who doesn't know what that means, that's like when somebody says, oh, I'd love to work with you, but I can't afford you, or I don't have the time, or whatever, blah, 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 the excuses. So I took a class on overcoming those. And of course I did the class really well because I'm this, good little girl, good little student. 7 people in a row, I would magically overcome their sales objections because I had taken the class and I was good at it. And then they didn't show up and they hadn't paid me. And that was just the last straw where I just kind of lost it and had a breakdown. And I remember pulling the curtains in the bedroom and sitting on my bed and just screaming and crying my heart out and hating the universe, and just not wanting to be alive. Um, so no, I was not a gracious loser at all. I did not have a positive attitude. And by the way, what came out of being in that place is not this kind of law of attraction that if you have a positive attitude, good things happen, and if you have a bad attitude, the law of attraction police are gonna like come down and strike you down with lightning. Actually, if you can get in touch with pain, that will become infinitely value in the process that I teach. And what I call my approach, I call it financial alchemy, because alchemy is the transmutation of lead into gold. And for me, lead in human experience into spiritual gold, which has the nice side benefit of also translating into money, cash, dollars. And so the pain and the struggle and the suffering and whatever drama you can dig up, if you aren't feeling it now, just dig a little bit to find, something from some time that you can use, because that lead becomes really valuable. It creates a certain tension that creates a momentum that can create really dramatic positive results on the other side. But the first step is to separate in alchemy, in Latin, they called the first step nigredio, the blackening. We want to separate what isn't working for you in your relationship with money from the good stuff. We want to separate the lead from the gold so that you can have a truly golden relationship with money. We need to identify and get rid of the stuff, all the stuff that isn't gold, all the icky stuff first.
the icky stuff. Now, a lot of people won't even be conscious of the fact that they have icky stuff, as in, to them, money is basically what they hand over in their credit cards if they've got to that stage where they have no relationship with money because they're just little numbers on a screen on their bank account. Back in the days where people actually had folding money, I don't think that many of those people around now. We all deal in digital money. So how do you get them to even focus on the fact that, hey, I do have a relationship with this thing called money, and what is it that you actually say to them that helps them focus?
Well, that's a great question because most of the problem really is unconscious. Consciously, we want money. We want to buy things and do things and have things, and that's great. And every time we say we can't afford something, money becomes the bad guy who just prevented me from having something, doing something, or being what I want. So if, let's say, I said, Lorway, I want to go to Switzerland, but you won't let me. I want to uni, but you won't let me. I want to take this class and become this master practitioner, but you won't let me. We do that all the time, every time we don't do something we want to do because we didn't have the money. Money stopped us from it. And it's so unconscious that what happens is we build up this archetype, this unconscious monster that is money, who's the bad guy, is the dream killer. And then we wonder why we don't have it in our lives. But we have, yeah.
Sorry, but isn't that behaving like a victim? You're saying you're blaming somebody else for the lack of whatever it is in your life. It's your fault. It's kind of saying it's your fault, isn't it?
And it's socially acceptable because let's say you're trying to sell me something. I could say, oh, Norway, I love you, but I can't right now. Now, you don't have to think badly about me because it's not my fault. It's money. Money kept me from doing it. So now money is the bad guy to you too, not just me. And then things that some bad people do in the world to make cash, and all the people who are suffering and starving in the world because they're in poverty, and money becomes this really big monster. And consciously, everybody watching this show is smart enough to know that money is not bad itself, right? We know that consciously, but our conscious mind is not where the problem is. If a conscious mind was enough, if mindset was enough, nobody would ever have to go on a diet again. We know we're supposed to not eat the whole chocolate cake, and the chocolate cake comes and it's our instinct and our desire and appetite and unconscious needs to take over. And it's the same thing with money. It's not our conscious mind running the show. So what I want to do is make people conscious of a real relationship with money that anybody can understand, so you can change it. And there are other coaches who talk about relationship with money, wonderful coaches who talk about relationship with money. The difference is when they talk about relationship with money, they're talking about relationship with an idea, like a relationship with energy, or with an exchange of value or energy, or a relationship with a tool. Or my favorite is Deepak Chopra says that money is a divine field of abundance. And I don't know how to have a relationship with the divine field of abundance. And I really don't know why I would protect myself from a relationship with the divine field of abundance. However, when I make money a person, and I imagine if I'm feeling anxious and underpaid and frustrated and unloved and undervalued and freaked out, and then I imagine money as my current money as a person when I'm in that state. This was me 10 years ago. And when I imagined money as a person for the very first time, my money looked like, spontaneously popped up into my mind, this big scary, dirty, violent biker who causes fights. And I was so afraid. I had no idea before that moment that I had those feelings about money. I thought I wanted it. I was certainly working so hard for it. But when I realized that money was that terrifying biker who caused fights, and I imagined if I were at a live event, I would have my eye on that biker the whole time to create maximum distance between us. And in that moment, I realized, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm doing with money. No matter, I'm looking at it all the time, and I'm creating maximum distance because it's too dangerous. And I never knew that until I imagined it was a person. And I knew that if money was that biker, I could never have it in my life. So I had to change the relationship. And the great thing is that as a human being, I have been around long enough to know what it's like to end a relationship. And that becomes a very useful skill.
So, and nothing is lost, but you've basically distilled all the experiences, the so-called negative or disappointing experiences, and created this monster, yeah, what you call your money monster, and it's a he, and it's a terrifying sort of a character to have in your life. So when you look back on the days coming up to when you actually the penny dropped for you, did you find that throughout your early teens and so forth, the message you got about money was that it's painful, or it's dirty, or it causes grief in your life?
Not that I was aware of, not in so many words, but I saw things happen. I had a stepfather who would get a job, make a lot of money, get tired of working, and then all the money would go away. So there was a real feeling of insecurity. And I also had some personal things happen where a very large inheritance was stolen from me by an immediate family member who I really loved. I still love her. And then my college trust fund was stolen by another immediate family member, the person I took my first steps to. And it wasn't really about money, because at the time I was a kid, so it was still an abstract concept, and I was still taken care of, but it was really the betrayal that the people who were supposed to love me chose money over me. And I had no idea at the time what a big effect it had on me until decades later when I'm wondering why I'm broke. But people who loved me basically sent the message that they chose money over me, and that's a message that said that I wasn't worth much to them, or they didn't love me, and the world wasn't safe. I really believe that the money monster that I teach, and I know this because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I've coached thousands of people, and I've seen people make tens of thousands of dollars within a day of doing this work, and I've seen that a lot of times. What I know now that I didn't know then is that the monster is never really about money. It's always about what money represents, and that is specifically your worth, your lovability, and your safety. And anything that ever happened in your life that made you question your right to exist, or your lovability, or your worth, any betrayals, heartbreaks, abuse, that where you're going to find the pain that you can then turn into your money monster. And then we make the money monster responsible for all of it, because then we can get rid of it when we get rid of your money monster. And my favorite thing about this process is not only does it get rid of your money blocks, but it gets rid of your love blocks. And it gets rid of all sorts of health problems. And it's because it's all the same thing. It's all this area where we don't feel worthy of living. It's like this death impulse. And I've been receiving these marvelous stories from clients about one woman, her money honey. That's like money honey is the opposite of the money monster. It's the reason we go through this process. It's not just to torture you, I promise. But she told me her money honey, her new relationship with money, the total opposite of her monster, said that he needed her to quit smoking. If money was going to be with her, her money loved her so much. This new money person loved her so much that he could not be with her if she was going to kill herself. It was too painful for him. It was breaking his heart. He needed her to quit smoking so that he could be with her. And not only did her finances change, but she wrote to me about this experience of loving herself like she had never loved herself before. And I've had clients with eating disorders that just went away because they were so full of feeling loved and feeling their worthiness and feeling trust and safety that they didn't need to punish or judge themselves anymore. So your relationship with money is just a microcosm of your relationship with life. And yes, the money is important, and it's a great spiritual teacher because it gets our attention really, really fast. And
yeah, go on.
And the root of the problem is really never about money, and the cash part, the money part, is just the frosting. Happiness is the cake. That's the real goal.
That's something that a lot of people will not, join the dots with, and I'm sure this has captured the attention, and people are sitting up now because this is a whole new way that you've presented. My show is called Money and Mindset, and I actually sort of support people and encourage them to look within themselves because that's where the answers are. But you've actually put out a book, and that's going to be on sale on Amazon on the 23rd of January. It's called Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation. Now, that is the distillation of all your blood, sweat, and tears and personal experience where you can help somebody go through the process without them coming to you, where now I understand you don't take on personal clients because you've got to the stage where you want to reach a lot more people and be more effective. Can you talk more about this book, please?
Yeah, well, I do take personal clients, but I take very, very few. Like, I just want to coach 4 people a year. And I also want to help as many people as possible. So you're right. I've sort of leapfrogged and put 10 years of what I've learned into this book so that you don't have to struggle with it for 10 years. It is on Amazon right now because we had to put it on Amazon so that the book would be in stock on the 23rd. But I really want people to wait until the 23rd to get the book, because if you buy it on January 23rd, you will get dozens and dozens and dozens of free gifts. I went and hit up all of my favorite teachers and my own personal coaches and my friends and told them what I was doing, and they volunteered to give away their own products and programs in support for this launch on January 23rd. So you want to buy it that day to get all the goodies. And if you go to MorganaRae.com, that's my website, MorganaRae, which is RAE.com, you'll see a link for the book launch. And if you just enter your name and email address, we will send you all the information you need to know about how to get the book and how to get all the goodies and the gifts.
Okay, that's just that. The whole book will encompass the process that you're talking about. So now you've painted a picture of the money monster who is just reprehensible. It's like, okay, we've dealt with that aspect. What now?
Well, we want the money monster to be all bad, and we want it to be as big and terrifying and loathsome as possible so that you're willing to get rid of it even though it represents money. And what that does is when you completely get rid of it, it creates, I love the expression on your face, by the way, that allows you to have a completely opposite relationship. And then you get to meet your money honey. And the bigger and badder your monster was, the easier it is to experience a new relationship with money, your money honey. Years ago, I used to say, create your money honey. But I actually best when it's like you just meet him or her. Like for women, if you like guys, then ideally your money honey is going to be this really romantic, handsome guy. And men, if you like girls, then ideally your money honey is going to be the sexy, romantic woman who looks at you and bats her lashes, sighs, and falls into your arms and looks at you like you're her hero. And this is what I learned from coaching so many people is after I had my experience, I got rid of the monster and I suddenly had this empty space, which created a problem because I had just got rid of my only relationship with money and I kind of live on planet Earth and needed to have a relationship with money. So, and I didn't want to get into another bad, scary, abusive, hurtful relationship. So I thought to myself, well, who would I want in my life so much that I'd want this person even though it's money? And even though I was really in love and really happy in a romantic relationship at the time, I was very fortunate that this new money showed up as this tall, dark, handsome, romantic young man, totally safe, totally in love with me, handsome, in a tuxedo, carrying a bouquet of red flowers. It felt like he had been there for years trying to get to me, but I had this monster in between us. And I'd been breaking his heart by rejecting him and pushing him away all this time. And the reason I say it's ideal if you have this romantic money honey is what I found the first few years that I was getting all these clients right and left and right and left. And then I would try this out on them, you know, because everybody's concerned about money. And at first people would have their new relationship with money might be a dog or a cat or a horse or Oprah or Gandhi. And, you know, maybe it was better than the monster, but they weren't having dramatic results and I couldn't figure out why. And then somebody had a money honey who looked like Hugh Jackman, and bingo, she made like $10,000 the next day. And I realized that there's something intimate and equal about a relationship between lovers that you are not going to, I sincerely hope, find in a relationship with a cat.
Okay.
So you can break your lover's heart. Your money honey can love you that much. And cats know nothing about money, I promise you. Not just financial advisors. So I have money honey and I realize, I feel, and it's so weird. Imagine money wanting to woo you. Very, very different dynamic. And I also had a feeling of my own power in the relationship, that it was up to me, that I had the power to push him away or make it possible for him to be with me. So I asked him, money, what do you need from me so you can stay with me the way you want to? And you can hear that this is different than the law of attraction in a number of ways, in that we're actually going for the dark feelings in the beginning. We don't blame you. Anytime that you have bad feelings, let's use it. Let's make it into a monster or a mini monster and zap it. And then we have this new relationship. And instead of saying, okay, give me this, give me that, give me this, I'm going, what do you need from me, darling? And I'm not asking for anything for myself. I know he loves me. And I ask him, what do you need? And the great thing about being a person, and it's such a sexy personal feeling that has nothing to do with cash. Because that's conditional love. That's this kind of what have you done for me lately relationship, which doesn't make either of us happy. But I'm just loving him because he's so lovable. And so what my money honey told me 10 years ago, we've had lots of conversations and fights, makeups. And by the way, makeup sex with your money is awesome. Very profitable. And no, you cannot have physical sex with your imaginary friend, but it's a nice idea. So he told me that he needed me to love him and to stop treating him like a monster, which brings up the whole biblical thing about the love of money being the root of all evil. Love, real love, is generous, it's kind, it's expansive, it brings out our most wonderful qualities, and is never evil. So when I say loving your money, I'm talking about loving the person who is so deeply worthy of your love and needs your love and needs your trust, just like a human being, and loving this person and put the relationship ahead of the number. One of my clients years ago wrote to me, she got it. It was so exciting. She got it. And she wrote to me, Morgana, money is a relationship, not a number. And I have another client who refers to the number kind of money as cash. So that this relationship with her money honey, and her money honey is this imaginary Scottish laird named Declan McRae. It's such an awesome story. Because it's sacred. It's really just a stand-in for your relationship with existence. But money is that area of existence that needs our healing. It's so frightening to us and such an area of pain that if we can heal that relationship, it's like everything else falls into place.
Okay, this is basically doing people's heads in, okay? Some people listening to this will be wondering, what are you talking about, having a relationship with money that even sounds like it's a physical relationship? So how about people who are, happily married with, or not happily married either, with physical partners? How do you reconcile that? If for a woman to say it's like, would it be a form of infidelity to say I'm having a relationship with this hot-looking guy and I'm married to?
Because that has come up just about 100% with my coaching clients who are in relationships. They say that worry about cheating comes up. And first of all, I love it when people bring that up, because that means that the relationship feels real. And I really am trying to get them out of their head and into their heart. To date, nobody has successfully had physical sex with their imaginary friend. However, what happens when you are in a relationship, and let's say you're a woman and you suddenly have this imaginary money honey who looks like Hugh Jackman or Clive Owen or Denzel Washington, I know, all yummy, 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 who is in love with you and loves you more than anybody else in the world, sees your worth, wants you to honor yourself and maybe put on some makeup and those black stockings, the kinds with the seams on the back and that kind of thing, your partner is going to respond, because a woman who is feeling loved radiates. We just feel so happy and so affectionate that the universe falls in love with us. And that has saved more marriages, because you're getting certain needs met by your money honey that your human honey can't and shouldn't be expected to deliver, like total unconditional love. And I have this client named Sarah. I love this. Every day she asks her money honey, okay, money, what do you want me to do to make you happy today? And her money honey says, I want you to make love to your husband. And her husband has found this very enrolling. And relationship with money too. So use those feelings and bring them to your husband, honey.
Okay, I'm going to have to ask you this. It's kind of way out there. So when you talk about your relationship with your money honey, is it basically having a relationship with an aspect of yourself that's been dormant?
Yes, and of course. I mean, what else is there? Even the outside universe, we only perceive in our heads. So how does it even exist? Let's get really philosophical here. Yes, and I find it helps to imagine this outside lover, because we in ourselves second guess ourselves, judge ourselves, jump back and forth on our value, and we have so much garbage going on automatically because we're human beings. So let's imagine there's this person outside of us who doesn't have any of those issues going on, who just sees us for who we really are at our best. He doesn't have any of our insecurities, and he can just cut through all the chatter in our heads. And for many of us, especially women, but it does work amazingly well for guys too. we can love ourselves through the mirror of our reflection in the eyes of the person we love. So if this person we love and admire sees us and sees this radiant goddess, we get to take his word for it and just shut up. And by the way, if we talked about issues that face people who are in relationship, I also have coached people who have never had a good human relationship in their life, who were abused as children and just have never really had a good relationship. And what has happened for them is that this new imaginary relationship creates a new blueprint. They feel loved and full of their own value for the first time, and they choose people who treat them better. You know, people worthy of their money, honey. They make better decisions. They attract better people because they get to practice what it's like to be loved. And it makes it impossible to go back to abusive people because their money, honey, just can't tolerate that. Does that make sense to you? It teaches, and so people attract their soulmates, and they attract better relationships than they've ever had in their lives because they get to practice what it's like to be loved in this new relationship. So it's really not about money. It's about making money by putting love first.
Okay, it's basically traveling from your head, where most people live, because it's a safer place, to their heart, and and connecting between your head and your heart. Then it's two sides of the coin, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and for the yoga practitioners, we can go down a few chakras even lower than that to the second chakra, which is it's so convenient that yoga, the second chakra, is the seat of sex, romance, and money, where they're all connected in that same place. It's that place of appetite and romance and worth and all those issues. For the yoga people, we can bring it even farther down.
Right. So when you have that, it's almost becoming whole again, in a sense that people have become so fragmented in their lives that they compartmentalize everything. And you're saying integrate, 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 and that's where your wealth is.
Yeah, and the cash results are real and dramatic. I'm working with a woman now named Caroline who made $86,000 the day after doing this process the first time. And that's just the beginning of the journey. By the way, that's why I created the book as a 12-month workshop, or not workshop, workbook, a self-coaching system. I'm working with Caroline for a year. Because making the $86,000 was not enough, she wanted this relationship to stick. She also wanted to work less hard. She didn't want this to be like a one-time groovy thing and then back to normal. And so it's just like any relationship where it's not enough to just fall in love, say I love you, and then you're good to go for the rest of your life. I also want people really easy tools to stay on track and to be moving forward without it ever feeling hard or ever hurting. And that's why the book is called Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation. Because I didn't want something that you read and it's a good idea and then it goes on your shelf and your life doesn't change. The only reason for this book, it's not my profit generator. The reason for this book is because I really want to create lasting change in the world. And I feel that this is the best tool that I have for helping people do that.
I totally believe what you want to do, and I support you in that sense. So just give that book a plug again. Where can they get that book from you? And on the 23rd, you say that's the day where you get the extra freebie goodies from your pals there.
Where you live, I think it's the 24th in Australia. Yes. It's so confused. Time and date. Tomorrow, I'm starting a 3-day telesummit, which will begin at 4 a.m. your time, I think, if you're in the same time zone as Bali. Uh, it's just a 3-day free telesummit, and you'll see it on my website at morganaray.com. And one of my guests is Christopher Howard, who is in Australia all the time. And I took classes with him back in 2005 and 4, and now we're really good friends. And he's going to be a guest. I'm doing this 3-day telesummit on the topic of money, love, and magic as a bonus for registering to find out about the book launch. The telesummit is totally free. You don't have to buy anything. I just really wanted to share my friends with my audience, and this is a great excuse to do it. So poor Chris Skyped me, today, and it was like 4 a.m. his time, and he was wondering where we all are because of the date difference. You're a day ahead of me. So you want to buy the book on the 24th of January. I am so sorry for anybody that I confused. And also, if you are willing to get up at the god-awful hour of 4 a.m., you can also attend the telesummit on money, love, and magic. And everything you need is at my website, morganaray.com.
Okay, so the money bit most people get, but the magic bit, what do you mean by that?
Well, I love a quote by the author Arthur C. Clarke that he said that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Couldn't ignore the magical quality of people's results. Like, I can't really tell you why Caroline made $86,000 overnight after doing the process. I can't really tell you why Jerry Grahalis won a 6-figure lawsuit that she didn't even know she was part of the day after she did the process. And I have hundreds of these examples. So there's this kind of magical quality that I've never really been able to understand. I'm really very good at making it happen, but I wanted to bring that in. I believe that change has to be hard or take a long time. That's not the case in my universe. That's not the case in my experience. There are some things that, I spent years and years and years using the wrong tools to change my relationship with money. But the moment I did this, the next day, 4 people hired me at twice what I had ever charged, and they kept coming and coming. And now I live a ridiculously fortunate, abundant life financially and in relationship and romance and getting to go anywhere I want and take any class I want and basically do what I want. And it also allows me to invest in creating things that are meaningful to me. Like my friend last year called me because she was about to lose her farm, and it wasn't her fault. And I had the abundance to be able to wire her a large amount of money that, to save her farm, because that is, to me, like, that to be able to do that is true wealth. It's the choice and the freedom to invest in what's meaningful to you, to not have money be the bad guy. And even that is not about dollar amounts. Like, I generate big numbers now, but that's not really what wealth is about. I think wealth is about the freedom to have and do and be who you want to be in the world, and to not feel frightened, and to feel valued and valuable and loved, and to have possibility. And I mentioned Chris because he said something in 2012 that is one of my favorite things I ever heard. And he said that the problem in the world is not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. I think that's really powerful, and that's what I want to change in the world, or just that's what I want to see in the world is a planet of people feeling resourceful, like you have choice to live the life you want to live.
Okay, um, that's, amen to that too. So for somebody listening now who's saying, in America, as you know, the economy is still trying to get back on its feet again, and people are still out of jobs, and listening to this, they'll say, yeah, it's good for you, sweetie, but what about me? So would it be then that if I said to you people out there, the challenge is go get the book, and based on what you have said, and I totally believe what you're saying, that you can change your life virtually overnight just by following to the letter the instructions in your book and then living it out for the next 12 months. One more time, what's the name of the book so that they can get to it?
The book is Financial Alchemy, 12 Months of Magic and Manifestation. And I have the distinction of being able to be a total economic failure when the economy was awesome in America. And I'm doing really, really well when the economy sucks. And I see clients doing really, really well all the time. So we do have a real economic problem. And we also have a personal economy. I never, ever make any promise that if you do this, you're going to make some kind of external result, because I can't control it and I'm not coaching you. So I can't say, oh, buy my book and you'll make $10,000 the next day. That would be just, how could I, I don't know. I can't predict that kind of stuff. But what I do know is that I get emails every single day from people who say that this changed their lives. And what I want for you is, if at the very least you could sit down on the couch next to your money honey who loves you, and then you take a look at your circumstances, whatever it is, and you look at it together. It looks different. And you don't have to be alone. And that is my real wish for you, is that kind of partnership and that kind of relationship where you can take a look at a situation that really may suck, see the opportunity and what you need to do next. Because that's what life is. Stuff happens. Some of it we like it, some of it we don't, and then find the opportunity.
That's well said. Okay, so there is a certain amount of being responsible for ourselves and not putting the blame out there and taking responsibility for where we go next. And in your case, now that you've got people to create this money honey who is basically your cheerleader, the person who is going to be on your side and supportive and not judgmental, it is going to be easier to move forward, yes?
Oh, yes, yes. And, on my website at morganaray.com, yes, click on the book launch. You can also take a look. There's a button for the telesummit so that you can see who the guests are. On the book launch, you can see what the gifts are. And while you're there, you can take a look at the success stories of people who started out in every kind of situation. And they say in their own words, I add nothing to it, they just share their stories. And while you're there, because I my boyfriend teases me about this all the time. I was born without the patience gene. I like things now, if not yesterday. I have a free 4-part video series that you can get now, even before the book comes out next week, to start the process. So while you're at my website, you'll see at the very top, you'll see this ridiculous photo of me in a red dress on my back, because I'm that professional, right? And just give me your name and your email address, and we will email you each of the 4-part video series for free starting now.
Okay, folks, that is something I'm going to throw down as a challenge to you guys out there. Okay, so if you think you've tried it all and nothing's worked, there take on this particular challenge and go to Morgana's site and opt in for that and get the information, and it will really spin your head out. I trust you. Trust me.
Yes, that we can guarantee.
Yeah, it's been my head out because I thought, what? Anyway, but I can see the thread and the the reasoning behind it, because I think for some people this will actually gel with them after they've done the vision board, the goal book, the affirmations, and they go, no, nothing's quite worked out the way it is. So what you have got is basically, like I said, a distillation of all your pain, angst, and some degree of cynicism that's then been transmuted, as you like to say, into something that's really good that you're sharing with a lot of people who I think need to hear this at this particular time in their lives, because at the end of the day, you've just shared with us your legacy, and that is, among other things, to just make this place, this world a better place for everyone to live in. But I'll let you say it in your own words.
Thank you. And more than even learning from my own experience, I've learned from the people I've coached. Every time I've coached somebody, every human being brings their own challenge, and they taught me more about this process than I knew from it myself. Whether you buy the book, I mean, please, for goodness sake, I really hope you'll just check it out at the book launch page at morganaray.com. Whether you buy the book or not, I really do want to have a positive impact. So I hope this call has opened something up for you, and take advantage of the video series. And your prosperity serves the world. This is really important, because you have impact on everybody else around you. Whether if you have children or you have friends or family, your prosperity serves the world. So there is a spiritual, in my worldview, money is our next area of spiritual growth for healing the planet.
Well said, and I certainly believe that is to be true too. That's why I do this show. And thank you very much. I have to wrap it up now. I could speak to you for a lot more hours, but we have to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for your patience as well, and getting on the show at this time to share with us basically your truth, and in a very enlightening, very refreshing, very funny, but very heartfelt way. So on behalf of Your Money and Your Mindset, God bless. Thank you, Morgana, really.
Thank you. Namaste.
Today's podcast is brought to you by ObesityHotline.com, the silent killer, providing support and encouragement in the prevention of this rising epidemic. Featuring the Body by Vi Challenge. Is there a quick answer to the question? Go to www.obesityhotline.com. You're watching and listening to Conscious Evolution Media, shifting global consciousness at Conscious Evolution Media.